dun 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 dun. Welcome back to the Comconocave. I am your host, the Comconocalst, and today I am not really following any format whatsoever. I'm just going to be talking about something that, one, I thought was kind of interesting, but also it kind of bothered me at the same time. So let's start with the interesting side. Now, I went back recently and I was reading some old comic book storylines, and I started off with the Fantastic Four, and it was issues 554 through 561. Now, instead of showing every single individual cover for each of those comics, I actually went out and I picked up the compilation book. This is what it looks like. If you haven't read it, it's fantastic. It was published back in 2008, and near the end of it, and I'm not trying to give away anything, but I'm trying to make a point here. So, well, the fact that it's about 8 years old, or 6, sorry, 2008. I don't feel like I'm giving anything away, but near the end of the storyline, it was revealed that the new Defenders, which returned to the past from the future, Wolverine was one of them, and he had a stepson that was one of the offspring of Bruce Banner. Now, normally this wouldn't really stand out in my head, but a few years later, primarily, to be more specific, it was back in 2010, I was reading another storyline. It was Wolverine, issues 66 through 72. And they even had a one-shot that summed up the whole storyline. It was called Old Man Logan. Again, I have each of the individual comic books, but I brought this out because I thought it would be a little bit more appropriate, and I wouldn't have to show each and every one, while I was talking. So, and if you haven't read this, buy it. This was probably the best comic book run that has ever been made. It was amazing, fantastic, super. I can't give you more words to describe it. But it explained how Wolverine became the stepfather of the offspring of the Hulk. And I thought it was really impressive because it took place 2 years later. Now, I don't know if they planned this storyline, ahead of time and said, hey, let's do this, and then we'll add this, a couple of years later. Or if they just said, hey, we did this, so why don't we tie it in this way? Either way, they did an incredible job, and thank you for bringing both of these storylines to us. Now, the thing that kind of bothers me is the whole Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, I went and saw Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and the S.H.I.E.L.D. complex was amazing. I mean, huge story building, multiple floors. Then they had a basement area where they were building all sorts of helicarriers. The thing that bothered me was, they had all this money, all this, grandioso, feelings to, it was huge. And then, I'm watching Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and they're in this situation room where they're supposed to be helping and fixing everything that's taking place all over the world. And it looked like it was smaller than a janitor's closet from, what they had in the movie. Now, I know there are budget constraints, but really, if you're going to try and pull this off as convincing us that both of these take place in the same universe, you got to do something a little bit bigger. It kind of bothered me. Now, Ken from the John and Ken Show, BYBI, he was like, dude, get over it. He's like, suspend disbelief, just enjoy the show. I'm trying, but it really bothered me. Now, speaking of the John and Ken Show, Ken and I were talking. We came up with a really good storyline for DC, other side of the spectrum. And I'm trying to throw this out there to, the webverse. We're trying to get DC to pick up on a storyline. Now, what we came up with, we thought it would be really neat if DC created a character. It was called the Hunter. And it turned out to be Damian from the future. Now, as everybody knows, Damian passed away recently. But his grandfather is Ra's al Ghul, so it wouldn't be unusual for him to be able to be brought back to life by stealing the body, throwing him in a Lazarus pit, and what have you. But we thought it'd be really neat if he came from the future to the present and started picking off every single one of the previous Robins. And why stop there? take out all of the sidekicks for every single DC, character. I thought that would be an amazing, storyline, and so did Ken. Well, Ken came up with it, to be honest. So we came out with a Twitter hashtag. It's hashtag DC kills off sidekicks. Go online, if you can get a hold of DC, let them know that you're interested in the storyline. Send it out to all your friends. If we can get something going, that would be amazing. We would love to see this storyline, take place. So that's it for this week. Thank you for indulging in my, just ramblings. But no, it's something that we really would like to see take place. So now, if you have any questions or comments, you can reach us in the comments section below, or you can contact us at comconocave@gmail.com. Now, if you have anything that you want to show on this program, you can also send a video link to the same email address, and I'd be happy to show it to you and answer any questions that you have that way. Now, hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, take it easy.